We got buffs and nerfs to the dried gas, happy gas, and leads today, and some more secrets about the next upcoming Minecraft cape. Hello there, Ray here. This is all in the latest Snapshot 25W18A for Java edition, but I'm sure Bedrock is also going to get this as well. Minecraft changed the recipe for the lead item. Now, instead of needing a slime right here in the center of it, and now just use another string. So with a total of 5 strings, you can end up with 2 leads. Now, this is a funny coincidence. If you guys are watching my live stream, I've been working on a lead farm ever since the new leads were added into the game. And one of the things I talked about during the stream is how silly it is that there is slime balls inside of the lead recipe. Because like leads in real life, leashes, as well as like lassos, don't really have any kind of slime, but can be completely made out of just like a rope. Either way, we do end up with a lot cheaper way to get leads in the game, and they said the reason they did this is because now leads are so popular with all the different crazy things you can do with them. If you guys are curious what that all includes, I did do an entire video on that, which I'll put down in the description. But what do you think of this lead change? Do you think that since it doesn't use a slime ball anymore, that it's too cheap in order to get leads compared to all the crazy stuff that we can now do with them? Or do you think it's just fine just having completely string in order to craft them, which you can easily get from like bartering or a spider farm? Leave your like on the video. Speaking of bartering, you can now get the new dried gas item from bartering with piglins. So let's see how common it is. We'll just give ourselves a whole bunch of bartering loot. You can see we are collecting a few dried gas, but they do seem pretty rare. But you can still craft the dried gas, although they did change the recipe. Instead of using a bone block in the center, it now uses a soul sand block, but it still uses the 8 gas tiers around the outside. Now this does make them harder to get because in order to get bone blocks, you do need to have bones or bone meal, which is typically from like a skeleton farm or a composter farm. So it's not too hard to get bone blocks, but when it comes to soul sand, the only renewable source is actually bartering. So if you use like my gold and bartering farm, which I have updated to the newest version to overcome the recent nerfs to gold XP farms, you'll end up getting a lot of soul sand over time. But this does mean that Mojang did break my dried gas farm that I just did a video about, and that was a combination of a gas farm and my skeleton farm and even a compost farm in there. So now I'm going to have to make a new dried gas farm in order to complete my farm everything spreadsheet here. And if you're looking for that spreadsheet, I always put it down in the description of these videos. Now the reason why they probably changed this is because people were complaining that the dried gas was too easy to get in survival, with some people thinking that you should only be able to get it from the actual bone block structures that can be found here in the nether dimension. Now I really don't mind the ability to craft something like a dried gas that can turn into an entity. We do have this with like iron golems and snow golems, and stuff like ender pearls can produce ender mites, and eggs can produce chickens. And of course we got other things like sniffer eggs and turtle eggs and even frog spawns. But those last ones you can't actually craft. So I think this was their kind of way of making it a little bit harder to get this, as you have to do bartering or at least mine up some soul sand. But once again, the main thing is getting 8 gas tiers, which is pretty difficult. And because it's rare to come by through bartering, it's unlikely for you just to get a bunch of them accidentally. Were you one of the people that thought getting a dried gas and essentially happy gas this way was too easy? Or do you think it was hard enough the way it was before? Either way, I have my work cut out for me, as I have to make a new dried gas farm as well as lead farm. Now the next change that came with the snapshot is more of a buff than a nerf. And this has to do with how potions will work. You guys ever had problems in the past with potions? You'll know that sometimes, depending on where you throw the potion relative to the center of the mob, can determine how much the potion will actually last. You might remember this like back in the days where you'd throw a potion up to let it hit you on the head to try to get the maximum number of time that the potion would be active. Now this confusion is all fixed today, as the potion effect is no longer calculated from the very center of the mob, but rather the closest piece of the mob to the potion. So if I drop like a potion here, you can imagine the center having the most time that it can give you, whereas you move outwards, it's going to give you less and less time of the jump boost. So even if the very edge of this cow is touching the area where the potion effect is given off, it will get the effect even if the center would happen to be too far away. So it doesn't matter if you throw a potion at your feet it's going to collide with your hitbox, or if you throw it and touch your head with it, any part of your hitbox gets hit by the potion. It will see that as you being the closest to the potion as possible when it broke, and therefore you will get the highest number, which is really nice for people that do PvP, as you can focus more on the actual combat and less on trying to get the best angle of throwing potions onto yourself. Now this was also noticeable when it came to the Happy Ghast, as before by throwing potions on top of it would not actually work because the center of it was so far away from the top of it, it would not even calculate getting any effect. And now you can see it works just fine by touching the top, as any part of the hitbox that gets collided with it will then put an effect onto it. Now this should also fix a problem that I noticed when designing my simple slime farm that uses allays drowning in water, producing infestation of the silverfish, and then we're converting them over into slime. It's one of the most simplest yet effective slime farms that's completely automatic. But I noticed that when I would throw a potion onto these allays, even though they would all get hit at the exact same time from the potion that comes out of here, the duration of the potion for some of the allays would be less than others, which made no sense whatsoever. And after a bunch of testing, I found out it was related to which allay actually gets hit first, and I even made a bug report on it, so I'm really glad that they came in and fixed it, as today's fix will also prevent a group of entities from getting different timed effects, and instead we'll get all the same strength, which is really amazing. We'll also make this farm slightly better, because now we can precisely time it so that the potions will last the entire 3 minutes, when before we had to make it a little bit shorter in order to actually hit the majority of the allays at once. A lot of technical talk there, but hopefully that made sense to you. This probably also affects other things that I'm not aware of, so if you guys can think of any other case, let me know down below. Help me reach the 500,000 subscriber mark by clicking that sub button if you haven't already. More Unifonts are available now. With their latest change to the Minecraft Unifont, this means you can now get Unifonts that are in private use areas, so you can pull in Unifonts that are under different registries, such as like this one here. Now I haven't used Unifonts for a long time. I did do a video about how you can get these impossible name tags in Minecraft using a weird Unifont. It's actually one of my most popular videos, but I've always enjoyed seeing what crazy stuff people do with the Unifonts in-game. Now entities got some new data to go along with them, which we use this command to check out. The first one is home position. This is where they considered home. So like for the Happy Ghast here, these are actual coordinates in the world. And this is the area where it'll kind of like stay near. Doesn't mean its current location, but it also has a radius, which is called home radius, which is right here. And you can see for the gas, it's set to 9. And this is how many blocks away from their home position where they'll kind of circle around. So if we look at something like this cow here, there's its home position. But when it comes to the radius, the home radius for the cow is 5 blocks, so it's a lot smaller area. Now some mobs will ignore their home position, such as like bats, magma cubes, phantoms, slimes, ender dragons, and stuff like that. And this home position thing is mostly applied to mobs that are on leads, as they can't really move very far, so they don't want them to like try to pathfind and keep trying to pathfind one direction and keep getting rubber band backwards. So like this cow over here isn't on a lead, and you'll see it does not have a home position nor a home radius. I would think that this also will help on lag, as the mob isn't constantly trying to pathfind and instead will just be restricted to that small area. Now this home position thing will fix the problem that I noticed where the gas keep drifting further and further and further away from where they originally were. And you can see they all got stuck in unloaded chunks. Now Happy Ghast has been included in the groups which are considered followable friendly mobs, and this way you can kill off like all mobs that are under this same tag. We also got quite a few bug fixes this week, mostly related to things that accidentally got broken during the making of recent features. Now back during the Minecraft movie in-game event, Merely Miserable found out a new cape was coming to Minecraft, which is this cape here, and it's known by the name Incentive Cape, but in the code it is known as the Common Cape. This is one that has a little grass block on the actual cape. You can see the dirt here, the grass here, and is slightly different than this cape here, which only has a grass block at the top of it. Now at the time I mistakenly said that the cape was coming out next year, but instead it appears to be coming out this May, with the ending date being next year in May. It also seems you do not get this cape from the PC Game Pass, but instead the first time you log in, that is not from a Game Pass ownership. And this is what it looks like when you put it on an elytra. It looks kind of strange, with the entire cape kind of turned sideways, and the green is on the side and the dirt piece is near the center. Now with the Minecraft live event, we got 3 new capes. So it does seem like we're getting a lot of capes recently. What do you guys think about this? Do you like this, or do you think they should come out with less capes overall? Now come chill with me as I check out the newest features during my live stream. You can find the link down in the description. And as a viewer, you can even join my server here and play along with me. The IP and all the details can be found on my Discord, and I have to say these videos wouldn't be possible without my supporters here. Not only do you get the perk of having your name at the end, but you get tons of other perks, including access to our challenge worlds on the supporter server. And I will see you all over there. Bye bye!